Thank you for checking out this little teaser of the history of the papacy and church. Here's a little taste of what's coming up soon on the History of the Papacy podcast. Now, if you like what you hear, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. If you want to support the podcast even more, consider becoming a Patreon on patreon.com/history of the papacy. There are many levels and benefits for you, and you help keep the history of the papacy going. You can learn more about all of this at historyofthepapacypodcast.com. With that, here's another piece of the mosaic of the popes of Rome and Christian church, and I will definitely be talking to you more soon. Start to get into this more modern view that Ireland was kind of the alternative, like the real thing, as opposed to the innovations that were coming in through the Normans and the Romans. Like, it keeps getting reimagined by different generations.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you've got this alternating perspectives. In the classical period, we've got this idea of the barbarians on the periphery. They talk about the Gauls as barbarians. They talk about the Goths as barbarians. So we've got this really kind of barbarian otherness periphery idea. And then at the same time, and you see it also in these classical sources, this romanticization, this kind of noble savage perception of, the Celts, and then of Christianity in Ireland and Northern Britain. And so it seems to just go back and forth between these two perceptions. And then you've got in the 18th century and early 19th century, you've got the actual romantic movement. And this is when a lot of the antiquarians are getting started. And you've got all of these really interesting paintings that were being painted in this time of the Picts and of the Druids. And so you've got that big romantic movement coming through, and you've got even more modern religious groups kind of hiving off of that in neo-pagans and neo-Druids.